Welcome to Reshair on ESPN 730. For the next hour, your host, Chris Reshair, will bring fresh air to your financial needs. Excite, educate, and empower you to make sound financial decisions. Chris is a seasoned licensed mortgage consultant with NFM Lending. Originator license number 117266. Now, here's your host, Chris Reshair.
Welcome to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshair, licensed loan officer with NFM Lending. Here in Charlotte, our license number is 117266, and we are an equal housing lender. If you have not listened to Reshair Radio before, this is your first time, we want to say thank you for listening and tell you a little bit about what our show is. And that is, each and every week, I bring in expert contributors that sponsor Reshair Radio on a regular basis and special guests. And we talk about real estate, mortgage, financial planning, homeowners insurance, all kinds of topics that are financial related. That's why we're really here. The goal is, as you heard in our opener, to excite, educate, and empower Charlotteans to make sound financial decisions. So super excited about today's show. Want to tell you, first of all, really just introduce our expert contributor. Our expert contributors here at Reshair Radio actually help with sponsoring the show. They come on and they bring in topics each and every month to Reshair Radio. And without further ado, let's welcome back Jay McElveen with Goosehead Insurance. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
It's great. So I got, just while I have you, usually with the expert contributors, I like to have our listeners just hear a little bit about what you do on an everyday basis with your company and how you can serve our listeners.
Absolutely. So my company is the McElveen Agency with Goosehead Insurance. We are a local agency here in the Charlotte area. I work with 25 plus A-rated insurance carriers to give my clients an option. I like to look at each one of my clients and make sure that they're paying the absolute best, lowest premiums in the market, but at the same time, I want to make sure that they have options. It's not a one-size-fits-all in insurance. It's definitely you come to the table with several options to your clients, and they appreciate it more. Just know, not many ice cream shops sell just vanilla. They sell a trove of flavors, and
That's right.
do the exact same thing.
I call it the broker model, right? Because
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, if you have 20 different carriers, you may have one carrier that's trying to increase their volume, and they may offer more attractive premiums, in which case your client can benefit from that more attractive premium, whereas another one could be more expensive, or maybe one will do with a bulldog and another one won't, or one will do a trampoline and another one won't, right?
Exactly. So we have something to fit every single situation for a client.
Perfect. So Jay, we're going to be hearing from you toward the end of our show. You have full rights to the last segment. That's part of your sponsorship. Let's go ahead and get our special guests introduced here. We've got Carla Rodriguez with Wilkinson ERA Real Estate. Welcome to the show, Carla.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. And we've got Mike Troche with NFM Lending. Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Sweet. So we've got a super fun show that we're going to kind of go through if you're listening here for the first time. But Carla, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you're a licensed realtor, but you've got a plethora of experience. It's really just unbelievable. But give us a little bit of your credentials here.
Absolutely. So I have a vast background in mortgages. I worked for Bank of America for 11 years. So I was a loan officer, mortgage loan coordinator. I was a processor. I did it all. In the back end. And then after so many years, I just wanted to be the front face. I saw the many challenges and the loose ends between, the real estate agent and then the back end of the industry. I was just so intrigued. I wanted to bring value, being upfront, and that's how that motivated me to become a real estate agent.
That I know I've been a mortgage underwriter, kind of not really officially a processor, but I've processed my own loans, been a loan officer, but I've never seen somebody quite with so much mortgage experience also have so much experience in real estate. You kind of have a power package. It's unbelievable.
I do. That's my superpower. When I meet with somebody, I feel that I have this strength and the ability to qualify them in my head, know what my clients are going through, I kind of supersede the whole transaction beginning to end. I gather the package, I gather the information, and I prepare them to what we can possibly encounter accordingly to their situation.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited because it's so fun to see that experience. And if you haven't already picked up on the accent, you're also bilingual.
I do. I speak
right?
Spanish. That's my first
You're
language.
A strategic negotiating specialist.
That's
I mean,
right.
the list goes on and on and on. So how did you really, what got you from the point where you went from all of this experience to real estate? What was that trigger?
Well, it's no secret. Big companies sometimes stumble too, and
Okay.
that was the time of it. And then I thought, what can I do with my experience? I really enjoy educating, guiding. I like to put the whole package. I would like to see put in the package from the beginning and see it to, get to that point, to the closing table. And that has been the most fulfilling experience. Would I go back to corporate? Hopefully not. I love what I'm doing. I love taking that person, taking away all of their frustrations and their fears and that lack of entitlement they feel sometimes to become homeownership, and prepare them. Sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months, and sometimes it have taken me years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I like seeing that end result, and that is the most fulfilling feeling that I can get at the end.
Yeah, I had a client call me earlier this week, and I said, Mr. So-and-so, I said, I know we've spoken before. How long ago was it? He goes, it was 1.5 years. He says, I think my credit's finally ready. Right? And that was pretty exciting. I was like, well, first of all, I said, thank you so much for calling me back a year and a half later,
Yes.
right?
I try to always follow up, and I don't cut them loose whenever we agree we're gonna go
Work
through
together.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. And when I touch spaces with them and I say hi, ask them if they need anything, but when I receive that phone call saying I did everything you told me to and I'm ready, from them,
That's
it's
great.
It becomes
gets
a smooth
really fun.
transaction,
Yeah.
joyful transaction. Yeah.
Well, Mike, let's jump over to you for a minute. How did you get started in mortgage? I know the story, but our listeners don't.
I like many people, a couple years ago, took advantage of the lower interest rates when they were at their low, and I had needed to refinance, and I own my own business, and when I decided to get out of what I was doing, I said, well, maybe I'll get back into financial services. I was a investment consultant and financial relationship manager in New York for about 10 or 12 years before I moved here. So I thought, well, what am I going to do after this business? Am I going to get back into stocks, bonds, or, I wasn't going to work out of a bank, but I wanted to be in the financial service industry. And, the process of refinancing was so easy and almost fun that I said, you know what, I think I can do this. And sure enough, the gentleman that had helped me got me in contact with you, and the rest is history.
There we go. Oh, wow. Yeah, Mike is definitely one of our rising stars here at NFM, and it's been fun to really kind of bring you from no experience into mortgage and help you in your success at least a little bit. A lot of it is you.
Well, thank you.
But nonetheless,
it's definitely been fun, and I'm looking forward to growing and learning more.
Sweet. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with NFM, and we've got special guests and expert contributors here in the studio. If you hear anything along the way that is intriguing to you and you want to give us a call, perhaps you need a realtor, you need a homeowner insurance guy, or you need a mortgage professional, you can call at 704-277-4463. That's 704-277-4463. So what do you like most about being a realtor, Carla?
I like breaking that mental barrier. I like putting it in perspective. It's like going to the doctor saying, I want to lose, 20 pounds. Well, exactly, this is what you need to do. You need to turn it around. Same thing with your finances, or if you need to build credit. So I give you the formula because I already know, because of the background that I have. I follow up. I stay on top. And then, once it's ready, we just move on and get into that. So basically, I'm educating, I'm guiding, and never putting pressure. I like to see myself as a trusted advisor so I can help them achieve the home ownership dream.
Sweet. Mike, I'm going to throw the same question at you. What do you like most about being a loan officer?
Getting to that closing table, especially with those that, had credit issues or didn't think that it was possible. Especially being bilingual, I deal with a different client base that, at times they're just not ready. So being able to explain to them that we can get there, follow these steps. We'll do it together.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. And then seeing them get to the table, and then seeing them start tearing up or crying. There's no other higher fulfillment.
That's because they got an approval and in the house, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Because I have seen tears in my career, but maybe not always joyful
these are
ones.
joyful ones. Joyful.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm the radio show host. I'm allowed to make jokes and make people laugh, right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So real quick, Carla, we've just got about a minute and a half here before we need to take our first break. How would you describe the Charlotte housing market from your perspective?
Well, the lower supply is generating a high price increase, and but we still having people interested in wanting to buy houses. I have seen.
You're talking about like the first-time buyer housing market?
First-time home buyers, actually, and not so much first-time home buyers. I have seen a wave of people moving from the north, from New York, people moving from Chicago, also people moving from Florida, because they find our weather here privileged. They found they have better job opportunities, and compared to their market, there is still a very competitive pricing here. But for
so
us,
affordable, right?
Very affordable for us who are here. I'm going to say it's a great time for sellers to market their property. The low inventory, it's pretty much making the houses fly within a day or two. I have seen them gone in hours as well. But it's still going strong.
It's a little slower on the higher price point, but very, very hot.
Yes, anything below 200,000 is just going within hours.
Right.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Crazy.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your perspective on the housing market. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Chris Reshatar, your show host of Reshair Radio. We've got a lot more to talk about with Carla, Mike, and Jay, so please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know it has been reported that an estimated 80% of Americans have credit inaccuracies on their credit reports? Most people that have either inaccuracies or existing items that can be negotiated or adjusted do not know what their best score could be until they have found a new home, or buying a new car, or applying for a credit card. Then it's too late, and they have to accept a higher interest rate or lose the opportunity altogether. The time to work on improving your credit score is before you need it. Whether you have a 440, 640, or even a 740 FICO score, there is always room for improvement. The National Credit Care Team is comprised of individuals dedicated to helping the millions of consumers plagued by credit inaccuracies, errors, and fraud. It is our mission to help inform consumers and alleviate the stress of working with creditors and credit bureaus. Together, we can maximize your scores to get the best interest rates possible and save you money. Call now, 303-747-6390. That's 303-747-6390. Or visit us at www.nationalcreditcare.com.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with NFM Lending. And we've got here in the studio, if you've just tuned in or maybe perhaps were listening, we've got in the studio here Carla Rodriguez, real estate agent extraordinaire. That's what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out very well.
What's the one with the accent now?
That's right. With Wilkinson ERA and Mike Troche here with NFM Lending. We've got Jay McElveen here with a McElveen Agency, a Goosehead affiliate. We'll be hearing more from Jay a little later in the show. So, Carla, we were just talking a little bit about the housing market, but as we sort of prepped and planned for you to come as a guest on our show, you really wanted to bring the theme of like how do you package your home for successful selling? So basically, if you're listening to the show and you already own a home, Carla is imparting her wisdom, her knowledge, and her experience on key steps that you need to consider to package your home for success so that it sells, right? Highest and best. Isn't that what they say?
The most money the market can get you. Absolutely. So
number one is you say choose the right realtor. So what do you really mean by that?
Well, someone with experience and knowledge, and to get to know if that person it's all of that, you have to have an appointment. And you see, a listing appointment is actually a two-way interview. It's a compatibility meeting, and during that meeting, you're just gonna develop that trust. And you, as the expert, you have to create the value. So you have to make sure you're gonna work well together, because the seller, which is gonna be your client, have to let you guide them, and you also have to learn to listen to see what's important for them. So you have to create that relationship where you're going to work well together.
Right. And if you don't like your mother-in-law and she's a realtor, you might not want her to list your home.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm sure you have many arguments before. So one more, right?
But okay, so obviously an important step is really just making sure you have a comfort level with the agent. And a lot of people will interview more than one, maybe two.
Absolutely. You want to listen to what their plan of action is going to be. You want somebody who's going to let you know what are the possible, roadblockers down the road, what's important. I mean, how are you going to handle, for example, repairs? How are you going to handle the multiple offer situation, which can become stressful for sellers as well. So you have to make sure that you are working with somebody who you know is going to be capable, is going to be professional, yet you're going to work well. You're going to feel you're in great hands.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's go to number 2. You say another key step in packaging your home for successful selling is make your home a product. And I haven't ever had anyone use that exact phrase, make your home a product. So why don't you explain to our listeners what you mean by that?
Well, once you decide to put your house up for sale, I say it is now becomes a product. It's no longer your house, because you want to package it for success. You're no longer going to make it your own. You're marketing for somebody else, for many prospective
To appeal
buyers.
to many.
You have to appeal to many. You have to just pretty much take your feelings, take down that red wall you love so much. But you have to make it a product. You gotta make sure that it gets to the most people, and that's basically what it means to make it a product. And to make it a product, you have to take several steps to achieve that.
I have to share a quick little story. So many people know that I'm from the Philadelphia area, right? Mm-hmm. The house that I live in right now, the guy that owned the house, he made his house all about him. And the entire house, in every closet, at the bottom and the top, I'm talking pantries, linen closets, every closet, there was a Pittsburgh Steelers border. Now, I'm an Eagles fan, okay? Not a Steelers fan. So, he definitely had his house personalized. Now, we saw beyond his personal stuff.
Yeah.
We could see the house had good bones. He took a really good care of it. But that's an example where someone isn't making it appeal to the masses.
You have to make it easier for your buyer. I've shown houses that are like that, and the loft has gym equipment, and then all these pictures that are very masculine, and then you go there with family and children, and they're like rather uncomfortable, and they just want to leave.
Right, exactly.
I've seen a lamp of a naked woman. The base is a naked woman.
Right.
So it's like
the leg lamp?
Yeah, it's even worse.
Fragile.
I've seen a lot.
That's right.
I have seen a lot, and people, have common sense. Clean your fridge. Little stuff like that will impact the decision.
You just have to make people feel like it can be their home. So let's go through. You had said these are the key steps: deep clean, declutter, stage, depersonalize, and freshen up.
Right.
So deep clean, there's something different from clean and deep clean?
Absolutely. It's not just your typical, where your mother-in-law is going to walk through. You got to, clean the windows, the spider webs from the fans, the bathroom sinks. You got to look into that grout in between the sink. You have to make sure that it's not cracked. If it is, you have your
caulk your cracks and
caulk
things
your
like that.
Cracks, absolutely. You have to organize. You have to also freshen up. You can do some tricks. Of course, sometimes it's gonna have some odor. You can put some water with vinegar. It will start absorbing that odor.
So if you have smells, okay.
Have smells, yeah.
Declutter is really more or less kind of thinning out and making your closets look empty, your cabinets look. Even if you have to get a pod or store stuff in your garage. You want people to be able to envision their stuff fitting in your closet.
You want to
all those clothes that used to fit you need to come out.
Yes, the clothes from your miracle clothes, the ones you wish they fit. Okay, it's time for them to go. Yes, and you have to make sure that, for example, in your pantry, you need to make sure you organize everything by order. Face all the face everything
labels.
From the labels up front. Absolutely. How are you gonna fold your towels by color in the same way, facing forward? All of that stuff, your color, it is time to absolutely declutter, but also maybe color coordinated. Your shoes the same way. You don't want to have 1,000 shoes in there, just a few. You want to open the spaces. So you got to take stuff away.
All right. You say staging is a component of making your home a product. Mm-hmm. What do you do there?
Well, you have to make the home appealing to the highest member of potential buyers. So you have to make sure you make it cozy. For example, make sure your living room or your family room it's conversational. So make sure you're facing your couches.
Instead of all the couches facing the TV.
Yeah, instead of facing the TV, make sure that when your buyer comes in, when they sit down, they see each other, they imagine having coffee, a conversation, friends over. So you want to create that atmosphere there. Throw a cover in there. Put a book or some magazine, something that where can see themselves having fun or relaxing in that area. Same thing in the kitchen. Make sure that your counter cabinets are clean and open, that they can sit down and start seeing themselves in there, creating their own memories.
Excellent. All right. Depersonalize, and we kind of joked a little bit about the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, everything in that house. I still have people come up like, pest control people say, "Isn't this the Pittsburgh Steelers house?" And I say, "No, it was the Eagles house."
It's Eagle now.
But depersonalize. What's your version of that?
Well, taking away those personal objects, such as your family pictures, also for protection, religious statues,
okay,
or even like we were saying before. I mean, the gym, or even pictures of dead animals. You don't.
Oh yeah, taxidermy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea to pull that down.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anything like that, if you have an altar, I've come to houses and they do have altars, so you have to make sure that you take all that away. Okay.
Right. You need, again, you're trying to make the house
It's
appeal
a white
to
canvas.
somebody that's Jewish or Muslim or whatever. If they
Absolutely.
see all kinds of religious stuff around, it might just turn them off.
They'll have a hard time seeing themselves there. I have some people saying stuff like, God is sending me a sign. This is not the house for me, just because they see something and in their brain it clicks on them,
Right. Okay, perfect. And then the last one is freshen up. You mentioned a little bit about freshen up, but I know from doing this show for 3 years now, things like painting your front door with a fresh coat of paint, cleaning up the cobwebs, putting some fresh pansies down and some pine straw on the outside. You've got some things for the inside.
Your yard is very important. Listen, your yard is even if people are driving by, when they see the outside being tidy up, being, the door, as you're mentioning, the flowers, it's just going to invite them to come in. And it already setting the expectation that your house is going to be clean, organized, it's going to smell good, it's going to look good. So doing that freshen up is very important. You have to be also aware of the odors. If you have any pets, you want to make sure that you do, steam clean your rugs, make sure you vacuum the hair away, hide all the pets' toys as well. And you want to bring back a few elements that will make the home appealing. So think about vase of cut flowers, a basket of fresh market produce in the kitchen counter, a bowl of lemons beside the sink. All of those tips are going to help create that essence in the home.
Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, number 3 in our packaging your home for successful selling is consider a pre-inspection. What is a pre-inspection?
Pre-inspection is where I recommend to either have an inspection done by a professional, and then you know what to...
Like we have one of our sponsors is Home Inspection Carolinas. His name is Preston Sandlin.
Okay.
So he does those for a lot of our listeners.
Absolutely. And the value that the pre-inspection brings to the table, it's amazing because you can set the expectation right up front with your seller of what to expect on that when that comes around the repair request, and you can set up a budget already up front, or I recommend that if you can fix those up front, because things are going to come up no matter what. I mean, the buyers are going to typically do their own inspection, but they're going to find out. Yes. Some stuff you can get away, so might as well fix them up front before you put the house for sale.
Great. And you said in a case where maybe you don't have a home inspection, do you have a handyman just maybe come in and do?
I do. I tell everyone, the buyers are going to do their own inspection. So if you don't want to do that because it represents a cost that, they don't see the value, which I try to actually explain it is valuable. I like to bring a handyman that is going to do kind of the same thing. It's gonna be a third eye, more critical, that is gonna help us to find out and discover those things. And as I mentioned before, those cracks and the ground, he can help us with some of this stuff. We're just trying to be ahead of the game,
prepared,
and prepare and want to expect when the repair request comes, because that is another bump in the road. People see it that way. I try.
You're trying to get rid of as many roadblocks as possible.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Smooth, free transaction.
Perfect. Well, this is the perfect time to take our next break. So you've been listening to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar. Carla Rodriguez here from Wilkinson. Our ERA has been giving us great information on packaging your home for successful selling. We've got a couple of more suggestions to finish up our theme for the day. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, Chris Reshatar here with NFM Lending and host of Reshair Radio. If you are considering purchasing a home, you may wonder what your financing options are. We offer a variety of loan products to fit your situation, including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, and jumbo loans. Here in the Carolinas, some of the most common loans are FHA and USDA. FHA loans are popular in low-income and first-time buyers due to their less stringent requirements. They also have low down payment requirements and tend to have a lower credit score requirement as well. USDA loans also allow low and moderate income households to purchase homes in an eligible rural area. Home buyers who do not qualify for a conventional loan may be able to purchase a home with USDA. If you're looking for platinum level service and open communication throughout the process, call me, Chris Reshatar, at 704-277-4463. That is 704-277-4463. LO NMLS license number 117266. Corporate NMLS license number 2893. Go to nfmlending.com for licensing information, and you can apply online at themortgagegenius.com. Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with NFM Lending. Each and every week, we bring in special guests and expert contributors that bring in industry-related topics like mortgage, real estate, finance, homeowners insurance, credit repair, you name it. So if you haven't ever listened to our show, that's what it's all about. We have actually several guests in the studio here with us. Mike Troche, NFM Lending Loan Officer. Carla Rodriguez with Wilkinson ERA. And we have Jay McElveen with McElveen Agency, powered by Goosehead Insurance. Carla, let's bring it back. We were talking about our theme, packaging your home for successful selling. So if you are listening and you are thinking about selling your home, this show is really for you. Carla's been sharing some great techniques on how to package your home for successful selling. We've talked about choosing the right realtor, making your home a product, consider doing a pre-inspection. Those are the three key elements we've started with. The fourth one you say is price your home right. And here are some things that maybe we should consider. I think everybody is mostly interested in this key one, right? Pricing the home right. So what are some of the things that our listeners should consider when you are helping them price the home to sell?
Right. Well, the first thing is that ultimately they're going to pick the sales price. They're the one who put the price on it. You help them value and get to that conclusion. But what we do, or our job should be, is reviewing the recent sales, review the pictures of other homes, and if I get the chance, Chris, I like to preview or tour other homes that are going to be.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, they're
so you're going to look at recent sales just from data available in the multiple listing services.
Those are what we call of those listings. And absolutely.
And you're going to maybe even look at other homes that may be on the market. And I think That's so key because everybody, I mean, we all have a tendency to think our kid's a little smarter. Our kids are a little better looking. Well, guess what we do with our houses?
Yes.
My house is worth more. I have a better lot. I have a better floor plan. And in reality, if you haven't been in the 2 or 3 that are selling in your neighborhood or around the corner, you might not realize that maybe your kid isn't the smartest,
Exactly.
right? Or your house isn't the nicest
Absolutely
when you
right.
see somebody has completely done an HGTV renovation
Absolutely.
compared to yours.
Compared to yours, absolutely. Somebody who have already done, the whole renovation and yours is already like outdated, then you can't price it the same way. Or, I mean, you could, but it's just going to stay in the market, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to
And
lose
get
that
stale.
golden value.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Great suggestions.
Absolutely. I also try to guide them on don't overprice it because it's just going to stay in there forever. Don't overprice it because it will scare the right buyer away.
Not too high.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Not too hot, not too, yes. You don't want, what's that golden time? Nowadays where houses are getting, below 200 to 20, it's within hours, as I mentioned before. In 2 days, they're already gone under contract, multiple offers. So that golden value, it's when you step on that double digit, you're not gonna get that best offer. So you don't want to overprice it and lose that valuable time. You don't want to underprice it and give the equity away.
Now, I've seen, maybe you can share your thoughts just quickly as I knows my opinion, but I'm allowed to because it's my show, right?
Yep.
I've heard a couple of realtors say sometimes we will price it a little bit under the market because then it attracts multiple people, which then it ends up bidding back up and over anyway.
Yeah.
So sometimes the strategy is not pricing at how much can we get out of it.
Absolutely.
It's maybe if we put it at a very fair competitive price, if we end up having 7 people try to get the same house, we'll end up getting more money for it in the end anyway.
Part of the explanation is that, I mean, if you overprice it, people are going to be cold, they're going to come, they're going to like it, but they're going to think it is, it is too pricey. But when you do it a slightly under, you create that effect of multiple offer. I mean, people see it
Frenzy.
desirable. Yeah, that frenzy is amazing. You get sometimes over the price. They don't ask for anything. They don't ask for closing costs or a home warranty. So that ended up being a more net to the seller.
Okay, so that is a strategy that
That's a
you
strategy.
could recommend for one
Absolutely,
of your
yes.
sellers or a listener that may want to give us a call, which now is the time. If you are interested in selling your home with Carla Rodriguez Wilkinson, ERA Extraordinaire Realtor, the number is 704-277-4463. My number is 704-277-4463. All you need to do is simply text me, I need Carla, and I will make sure Carla gives you a shout right away.
Carla will appear.
That Carla will appear. That's right. So,
Voila.
so there we go. All right. So let's talk about our last one, which our last key element of packaging your home for successful selling is setting expectations around potential repairs. So earlier we talked about consider maybe doing a pre-inspection if you're selling your home. You call an inspector out and you pay the $400 or whatever the cost might be to Home Inspection Carolinas with Preston or another team, doesn't matter who, and they tell you what could be wrong and you have an opportunity to fix. But not all sellers do that.
Absolutely.
So then the buyer's going to come in and do their home inspection regardless.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come with their laundry list. A home inspection report is generally going to be 40 or 50 pages long. No matter how great you think your home is, they're still going to find a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So what kinds of things, how do you set expectations around potential repairs with your seller?
Again, the least I do is to bring that handyman with me because first of all, I'm not an inspector, right? So I may be pointing out things that are obvious. And I said obvious, but when you live in your house and you see that crack every day, it's not obvious to you. It actually disappears. So
Right.
I point that out, but then I bring that handyman.
But you see it in somebody else's house,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. But it's so easy to miss, and sometimes they're like a little bit embarrassed, but at the same time, it just lost that importance in the back of their head. It's just a little crack.
Right.
Buyers won't notice. Buyers will notice.
Buyers
because they're
think the house
buying
is
with
falling
emotions.
down.
Yes, buyers buy with emotion, so they want to see a picture perfect house. So having that conversation, I eliminate that surprise element. We set up a budget, and then when that time in the transaction comes, we can actually either negotiate an amount and give it to the buyer, as a credit.
Okay.
Or we can go ahead and repair them upfront. Most of the time, people like choosing that amount of money credited towards their closing costs. It's a help for them. So we do it, and literally we can create a smooth, stress-free transaction when we prepare upfront.
Right, absolutely. And it's those repair issues are going to come up no matter how great your house is. You could have, even with a pre-inspection, the buyer will still come in and say, we may have some concerns. Now, with it being more of a seller's market, particularly in that lower price range, the 250, 300 under, a lot of sellers don't have to make a lot of sellers concessions, meaning they don't. A lot of times the buyer will just say, we found something major, this is important, but we'll fix everything else because we really, really want this house and we know there were 7 other people fighting to get it.
Absolutely.
But it is good to be prepared, and it's really nice that you've got that handyman that will step in and maybe help with...
Well, you got to be prepared because let's say you even got multiple offers, but all of them were FHA, where the appraisal is going to be, the valuation is going to be more strict. And there's some things that you're probably going to have to fix in order for it to pass the inspection.
Right, because some appraisals or types of loans require a home needs to be up to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
The
all
loan
the mechanical components, you want to think about having your mechanical components of the house, electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, functioning properly, in good order.
That's right. Otherwise, the mortgage loan might not go through without those things being fixed.
Yes.
And so you would have to go back to your seller regardless.
And say, no, this is a must. Instead of, you know what, we tackle it. This is not an issue. Everything came out good. The inspection report is now clean. We just have to,
the challenge there, though, is if they didn't do the inspection work on the front end, they waited for the buyer to do it. Now you've got 2 weeks to find a contractor to come out in the time frame that you want something done.
And the money, because
and
if
it
you
costs
have to
more
do it
money.
upfront,
That's right.
Yep.
You can, if you're doing it before you list the house for sale, you can save some money because you can get multiple bids and you can lay out your own timeline. Mm-hmm. When you've got a week and a half to get major repairs done, just getting somebody to call you back is half the battle sometimes. Absolutely. For some of these.
You just don't want to fix the cosmetics so that people fall in love with your house, but you also want to create a good, valuable product. You remember that, it's my philosophy. If you put out something with love, it's going to be received with love. And, I believe in creating that atmosphere and having that transaction. That's how you create a harmonious transaction. The buyer agent will appreciate you, will respect you. And believe me, they're going to do everything they can to keep it that way.
Perfect. Well, if you got just a couple of minutes here before we roll out to our last segment, Mike, I'm going to throw a quick question at you. You also are bilingual. Both of you speak Spanish here. Mike, if somebody has a need to get qualified and needs Spanish-speaking support, where might they be able to get a hold of you or maybe find your website?
The best way to get in contact with me is with my cell phone. I don't keep an office line. I kind of try to keep it direct. I understand that most people are looking for homes in the evening or on the weekends, and I know realtors work on the evenings and on the weekends, so I work when they work. So the fastest way is always to reach me at my cell phone, which is 704-806-9782. That's really just the quickest way. Even if it's via text, I will get back to them immediately, or if not, let them know, hey, I'll be back in contact with you in the next 15, 20 minutes. It's on the spot, immediate response.
Yep, perfect. And Carla, same for you. We've got about a minute left. Just want to let you help wrap up our show. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can. Same way. My cell phone, which is 704-608-5205. They can also text me, or they can also send me an email at Carla, my agent, @gmail.com. And I've had the pleasure of working with Michael, and that is true. I don't want to abuse him and say he's on 24/7, but pretty much it feels that way. Great service.
Good. And you said Carla, my realtor?
Carla, my agent.
Or my agent, I'm sorry.
Carla with the C, my agent @gmail.com.
That's great.
Yep. Y en español al 704-608-5205.
Sweet. So thank you again for both of you being on the show. We've got one more segment again here. Jay McElveen with McElveen Agency will be talking about some of the homeowners insurance needs that we're going to be talking about on the next segment, and really kind of what kind of questions you need to ask your insurance provider before you get a policy. So again, you're listening to Reshair Radio. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Preston Salen with Home Inspection Carolina. We do home inspections, termite inspections, radon testing, any of your inspection needs. One thing that we do a little different, we fix the small stuff instead of putting it on the report. So if you need a home inspection, termite inspection, radon testing, please give us a call. If it's a home inspection or a pre-inspection, 704-542-6575, or check out our website at homeinspectioncarolina.com.
Hi, this is Chris Reshatar, host of Reshair Radio and loan officer with NFM Lending. Is home buying in your future? Buying a home is one of the most significant financial decisions you will make in your life. Each step in the process is important to ensure a smooth transaction. But the most important step, even before you look at houses or call a realtor, is to get pre-approved. A pre-approval is when a lender evaluates a loan applicant's eligibility for a home loan. The loan officer collects information such as their employment, income, assets, and current expenses. The lender then gives the applicant an idea as to whether or not they could afford a home loan or an approximate amount of loan they could qualify for. If you're looking for platinum level service and open communication through the loan process, call me, Chris Reshatar, at 704-277-4463. That is 704-277-4463. LO license number 117266, corporate license number 2893. Go to nfmlending.com for licensing information, or you can apply online today at themortgagegenius.com. Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar. We are just about ready to wrap our last segment up here of Reshair Radio. If you have not been listening to our show, we've had some great guests on the show. Carla Rodriguez with Wilkinson ERA. We've had Mike Troche with NFM Lending, and now we have up Jay McElveen with McElveen Agency. Jay, welcome back.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. So, Jay, you've been on the show before. You have prepared some really good information. You know, I see commercials on the TV really ad nauseum about all these different insurance carriers, and most of them are big names around the country. I'm not here to badmouth any agency, any firm, any company, but it's a lot of, I feel like the industry is commoditized, and I think you bring kind of a personal touch to personal and casualty insurance. I've been working with you for a while now. You've provided excellent service to my clients and my team members, but you came up with some really good information in terms of, you know, what questions to ask your insurance agent when you're getting ready to get a homeowner's insurance policy. So
Absolutely.
Why don't you kind of kick it off? What questions should our listeners be asking? Because they can call a national carrier, but they can also call you, a local Charlotte guy, and get that help.
So first off, you want to ask your agent, there's a few questions you want to ask. You want to first ask, is the insurance carrier that you're going with A-rated? So what I mean by that, all carriers are rated by the A&M Best, which is a company who rates them. And you want to make sure that these carriers are not taking on more risk than they can afford.
And that rating scale follows like grades in school, right?
Right, absolutely. So
A, B, whatever.
Exactly. So when you see, we don't work with carriers that have pulled out after hurricanes. So if you see, you know, back in '89 when Hugo hit South Carolina, several insurance carriers pulled out. Same thing, you know, carriers are pulled out of Florida. We look for that. We look at their financials, do with a, you know, fine comb, if you will.
Yeah, fine tooth comb, they say, Jay.
Right, fine tooth comb. And look at them to make sure that all their financials are in order before we partner with them. We want to make sure.
Well, that's interesting.
Right. We want to make sure our clients, when they do have a claim, they're not going to have any problem accessing the money that they paid for.
Sweet. So you're going to check the rating, and you're only going to provide carriers that have a really strong A rating.
Correct. Because a lot of our carriers, our clients come on, well, I've never heard of that carrier. Well, you know, I've never heard of a lot of things either. That don't make them bad.
Right.
I provide that information. I have financials on all my carriers. I send to my clients if they ask for it, just to prove. And also one of the carriers I use also does my insurance. And a lot of clients have questions about it. They say, well, I've never heard of this carrier. I'm like, listen, I mean, certainly I wouldn't put my own largest asset in jeopardy, and I certainly wouldn't put my clients. So this client is an A-rated carrier. I've been working with all my carriers for about 5.5 years now, and I've never had any issues on claims.
Okay, and I think what you're really saying is that you do have to put a little trust in the professional that you're working with.
Absolutely.
And you don't always get that option if you call a big 800 number Experience. Am I right?
Right. They're not going to really tailor that quote to you. I'm not going off the price is the last thing I'm thinking about, honestly. I'm at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to be less expensive. But I'm not worried about so much of the price. I want to find the right coverages and the guts of that policy to fit what you need, and then we'll talk about the price. Because I don't want my clients just to look at the bottom of the quote and just say premium. Oh, this was the least expensive, but you never know, they might have a $5,000 deductible, and we have
Right.
$1,000, and we might be $20 more. That explains it. So that's the main thing.
Okay, what's the next question?
Another one is replacement cost versus market value. I have this question all the time. Clients say, "Well, Jay, I bought this home for $250,000, but you only have the replacement cost at $203,000. Are you insuring my asset to its full value?" What people don't understand, as Carla was highlighting earlier, that Charlotte's real estate market is in high demand. So, but it has a low supply of homes right now. So the market value is going to be higher. They've got to understand that you're going to pay more for the home.
Well, and you're not paying to replace the dirt.
Exactly. We don't insure
Right? You
dirt.
buy the house and the land as a package,
Absolutely.
but if the house burns down, you only have to replace the house,
Exactly.
not
We're
the
not gonna
land.
build you new land. That's not
Right.
the way it works. So if we all do it by square footage. Kind of as a rule of thumb, you want to be about $125 per square foot as a rule of thumb. I do not insure homes for usually less than that.
Okay.
I've seen nightmares happen, and it's scary.
You can only build 3/4 of the home back.
Right. They think, well, I'm trying to get my price down. Well, let's find other ways. But we're not gonna remove coverages to do that. We can work with deductibles, things of that nature, but we're certainly not going to decrease coverages just so you can afford the insurance payment. We can find other ways to do that.
Makes sense.
So, right. So the next thing is, does my policy cover replacement cost or actual cash value? Most people have no idea what the difference is. Actual cash value is depreciated. So if you have a home that is only covered by actual cash value, say you have a TV that's $1,000 that's covered at ACV, which is actual cash value. Well, it's a 3-year-old TV. It's going to be worth about $200. We're going to pay you $200, not the actual $1,000 you paid for the TV when you initially
Right.
bought it. Same thing with a home. I've seen that Costco's had commercials for their insurance department. Well, Costco is using carriers that do actual cash value. I do not do carriers that use actual cash value. Our carriers are replacement cost. So we're going to value your home at replacement
Right,
cost.
'cause
So
you
it's not-
gotta be
pretty
able to
much takes away
right.
the depreciation.
Because a new TV isn't going to be $200. Now, they have come down in price.
No,
but-
exactly.
But it,
So-
it might not be as cheap as what the one has devalued
Right.
to.
So always ask your client or always ask your agent if it's valued at replacement cost.
Especially where homes actually typically appreciate
Exactly.
versus not.
Exactly.
All right, that makes sense. What's the next question?
Another one is, how's the claims process with carrier? I'm very transparent with my clients. I will tell them if I've had bad experience with claims. I kind of steer that ship most of the time when my clients have claims.
That was ship like the thing that floats.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're yes, we steer that ship all the way down to make sure that that's a kind of a very seamless process with my clients on the claims. It is a headache, and most of your claims happen with, honestly, when you just expect them in the middle of the night. You never know, your house might be burned down. That's why, just like Mike said, I don't have an office phone. All my agents have a cell phone that work for me. So we do not use office phones because I can't stand them. We're available 24/7. It can get, at certain times I've regretted that, but it is part of my job to be there 24/7 for my clients. And 8 to 5 is not when they always need me.
That's right.
So the claims process is very important. You want to make sure that the carriers are paying out within a certain time. They don't drag their feet. It doesn't take months, because people don't have months to rebuild their home.
Got it. Next question.
This is most important is, ask your insurance agent, do you represent several carriers or just one? And then if they only represent one, ask them what they'll do when the premium increases or if you get canceled due to a claim.
All
Ask
right.
them.
So if they're just one company, maybe a national brand,
Mm-hmm.
they only provide one option. What happens then if my policy goes up or you cancel my policy? What happens to me?
Exactly. Every carrier in the insurance market, rates go up and down every year. That's what we kind of hone in on. We really want to make sure we get that carrier as the rates lower. So you can say that, I've been with this carrier for 20 years, I should get some kind of benefit from that. That's not true. That's the old days of thinking. I've moved insurance around for clients.
Pensions are gone.
Right.
I mean,
I've
the
moved insurance
loyalty
around for 5
in our society is not there.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you move your insurance to a different carrier every single year. Customer loyalty in insurance is kind of a myth. It really doesn't. There is 1 or 2 endorsements you can get for being with the national carrier for about 20 plus years, and that's about it. So you want to make sure that you have a broker who has access to 20, 30 carriers. Like us, we have access to 25 plus carriers. So we can, every single year, we are marketing our clients to make sure your premiums stay down. Our business is about retention and residual
You could
income.
actually move that client from one carrier to the next
And it's
year.
very seamless.
That's actually resonating to me because I had a closing 2 weeks ago with a major carrier, and I just received an email saying we're canceling the policy. We're not able to. We realized, and that's how the email was sent out. We realized that we were not able to insure this home because it was from 1952. So now my client is like, Carla, I have a week, and they're not offering me any solutions.
Exactly. They'll go in there and say, well, we looked at the home and it doesn't have this update or that update, or we don't like the wiring.
We just don't
or the
like
plumbing.
something, right?
Right. So they can say, well, we're the only carrier that does polybutylene plumbing or whatever. That's not true. So, I mean, we have so many options, and that's the reason I was with a national carrier. I was an agent for them, and I left because of that. I was losing business. My retention was about 53%, and now we're about 97%. So we really don't lose clients.
Wow,
Definitely
that's
price or
super
service, but
impressive.
yeah, you give clients options. Like I said, you go back to like the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl with one play in their playbook. The Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl with one play in their playbook. You've got to have different options to win. So I hone in on that with clients. I'm like, when
Thanks
you're
for bringing up the Eagles, by the way.
No problem. I thought
And
about
I'm in
that.
Charlotte.
I was like,
I do
oh,
like
man.
the Panthers, but
Well,
Better now.
yeah, we'll see you this year.
that's what we'll see. That's right.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to really talk about today. Is some of the things. Just ask your insurance agent these important questions to make sure you're getting the right policy for your needs.
Sweet. So, Jay, if our listeners need to get a hold of you, what is your phone number, cell, and then maybe your email and or website, somewhere where they can connect with you?
Absolutely. So my cell phone number is 704-453-0456.
Say it one more time.
704-453-0456. And my email is my name. So it's JAY.MCELV as in Victor, EEN at goosehead.com. So it's just j.McElveen at goosehead.com. And you can reach me anytime, pretty much 24/7. I'm always available. Anytime after 5, it doesn't really matter.
Jay, I do have to share with you that I do much appreciate you being a sponsor for Reshair Radio, and more importantly, appreciate you being a great provider for our clients. We take a lot of pride in taking care of our clients, and part of that service level that we give is the service that you give. I mean, you probably retain about 96% of my clients,
Certainly do.
or you get a bunch of them at least.
Absolutely wonderful to work with.
So we do appreciate that. I will
Absolutely.
share with our listeners real quick as I wrap up the show. It's been great to have everybody on. And if you want to listen to Reshair Radio, this show in its entirety, you can listen back by going to reshairradio.com. That's RESHAIR radio.com, reshairradio.com. This show and all other shows are posted on there. You can actually find Jay's information on our website too, as well as an expert contributor. So if you need any help with your mortgages in English, since we got Mike doing the Spanish stuff here, my website address is themortgagegenius.com. As always, you can call me at 704-277-4463. Again, you've been listening to Chris Reshatar, your host of Reshair Radio. We'll be back again next week on ESPN The Game every Sunday at 10 o'clock. Everyone, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Have a great week.
Did you know it has been reported that an estimated 80% of Americans have credit inaccuracies on their credit reports? Most people that have either inaccuracies or existing items that can be negotiated or adjusted do not know what their best score could be until they have found a new home or buying a new car or applying for a credit card. Then it's too late and they have to accept a higher interest rate or lose the opportunity altogether. The time to work on improving your credit score is before you need it. Whether you have a 440, 640, or even a 740 FICO score, there is always room for improvement. The National Credit Care Team is comprised of individuals dedicated to helping the millions of consumers plagued by credit inaccuracies, errors, and fraud. It is our mission to help inform consumers and alleviate the stress of working with creditors and credit bureaus. Together, we can maximize your scores to get the best interest rates possible and save you money. Call now, 303-747-6390. That's 303-747-6390. Or visit us at www.nationalcreditcare.com.
Hi, this is Preston Salen with Home Inspection Carolina. We do home inspections, termite inspections, radon testing, any of your inspection needs. One thing that we do a little different, we fix the small stuff instead of putting it on the report. So if you need a home inspection, termite inspection, radon testing, please give us a call. If it's a home inspection or a pre-inspection, 704-542-6575, or check out our website at homeinspectioncarolina.com.
You've been listening to Reshair with Chris Reshatar, a seasoned licensed mortgage consultant, originator license number 117266. Learn more online at themortgagegenius.com.